If no ceasefire can be agreed and no fly zone can be agreed, are we now edging ever closer towards that ground incursion in Syria? Is that what Turkey is pushing for right now?
Well, Turkey's not taking it off the table at this stage. An official was speaking to reporters here in Istanbul, and he said that Turkey is considering, has a proposal out there of forming perhaps some sort of coalition for a potential ground invasion. Of course, this would be yet another devastating escalation of a war that has already claimed way too many lives. We also heard Saudi Arabia over the last few weeks talking about the possibility of putting together some sort of ground coalition made up of Muslim nations. But Turkey has also been calling, ever since the beginning of this conflict, for a no-fly zone to create some sort of safe space in the northern part of the country, at least some sort of space that would allow the refugees to flee to, and that, of course, would help towards saving lives. You were talking there about this blame game that's happening with pretty much every single nation that's party, or every single entity that's party to this conflict, blaming the other for those devastating strikes that happened, that killed dozens of people, strikes that hit hospitals, that hit schools that were housing people that had already fled the violence. I think the bottom line is not necessarily who is to blame, although yes, that is significant. It's the reality that this has been going on for far too long. And all we are seeing, despite all of these negotiations, despite all of these talks, is this bloodshed just continuing at astronomical levels inside Syria as various different groups try to grab land, try to grab more territory, and it would seem intensifying those efforts ahead of this proposed cessation in hostilities.
Yeah, and blame game aside, peace talks have seemingly effectively ground to a halt now. Does that mean that diplomatic efforts are exhausted?
Well, look, the diplomats will tell you that they're always talking, that there's always something happening behind the scenes, and everyone will pretty much come out and say the solution to Syria has to be a political solution. Well, we've been hearing that rhetoric for over 4 years now. We've also been hearing rhetoric from various different countries about red lines not to be crossed, about certain actions that will be taken. There have been all sorts of pledges and promises to try to bring about some sort of an end to the violence. But look at where we are today. Look at how many lives this war has cost. Look at all of the destruction that has taken place and how it's really not just confined to Syria. The impact of it is being felt on a global scale. Clearly, whatever so-called strategies have been put into place up until this point have failed.